Lionsgate is well known for their thriller and horror movies. Kevin Smith, the director of movies such as Clerks and Mallrats, not so much. But these two paired up for Kevin Smith's very first horror movie, Red State. We caught up with him at our Movies on Demand lounge to talk about it. So we're talking with Kevin Smith, writer, director of Clerks, Clerks 2, Mallrats, Chasing Amy. You mentioned Jersey Girl.
Jersey Girl.
I like Jersey Girl.
I'll take
But
credit
this
for that
Red
picture.
State is your first horror or is it a thriller movie? Let's talk a little bit about this. I know this is actually inspired by real life activities with the Westboro Church. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's a crazy bunch of religious right nuts in our country. The Westboro Baptist Church, so far gone that not even the far religious right in this country acknowledges them. You know, they scare those cats as well. They are the ones that show up at soldiers' funerals holding protest signs and whatnot. Real up with people, happy cats. They've been around forever. You can't do anything about them because we have, God bless them, free speech in this country. Everybody's allowed to say what they think and whatnot. So you don't want to take away their ability to express their ridiculous thoughts. But as an artist, you're like, what can I do? And then you're like, hey man, satire. Yeah. I can make a satire about these animals and kind of take their fangs out and show them for what they are, clowns and jackasses by way of entertainment and stuff. So that's where Red State kind of came from. And then I was like, all right, I'm already jumping out of my comfort zone because normally I do like Jay and Silent Bob type pictures. And I was like, maybe if I alter the approach a bit, it might be a little more artistically satisfying. So I started making and writing a flick that I hadn't done before. And what I wanted to do was homage the movies that I love. I love Quentin Tarantino flicks. I love the Coen brothers. I was like, let me see if I could pull off a vibe. Let me see if I could do what those dudes do, because they do a really classy, specific kind of filmmaking that I don't do. And I was like, let me see if I can do it with this. So when you watch Red State, you get a definite feeling of Quentin. You get a definite feeling of Fargo. It reeks of Fargo from the Coen brothers. So
what horror elements did you bring into it?
Rosemary's Baby,
nice.
And that was the big one for me because I love the normalcy of Rosemary's Baby. There's a beautiful moment in that movie toward the very end where there's a knife in the floor and there's something really weird going on. There's a satanic baby in the bassinet and whatnot. And there's all these like old timers sitting around this room acting like drinking tea, everything's normal. A knife falls in the floor because Mia Farrow is going to go stab somebody. She drops the knife in horror, and the lady goes over, Ruth Gordon goes over, picks up the knife and like does this on the floor, like the way your mother would if she dropped a knife, not the way your mother would if there was a satanic baby just over your shoulder. The normalcy of that scene I always found so frightening. That, and there was a movie called Race with the Devil that had Peter Fonda and Warren Oates in it, Loretta Swit, about these campers that are on the run from a satanic cult. And the movies that I loved when I was a kid, man, were like devil worship movies. In the 70s, they did a bunch of them.
So a little more the thriller kind of aspect, that psychological, I'm going to mess you up a little bit, as opposed to not slasher or anything like that.
Yeah, it's definitely not slasher because I'm not talented enough to like kind of pull that stuff off. But this is definitely more like.
I see a John Goodman as a slasher.
No, I don't think so. He said, well, we've seen it in Sea of Love. He was a slasher. Right. He's already done that. Here he gets to play an ATF agent. He's pretty heroic. I figured, as much as I liked those devil worship movies when I was a kid, this is the flip. This is an angel worship movie. So, you know, the devil worship movies weren't really about the devil. They were about some crazy people who believe in the devil, killing on his behalf. Just like this isn't really about God at all. It's about crazy people killing in the name of God and whatnot. Terrorism, as we call it in this country now.
Yeah. Now, also, you mentioned Quentin Tarantino. You have Michael Parks, another one that's a Quentin Tarantino alum, basically. How's it working? Because this is kind of a different cast for you. Usually you use a lot of the same people over and over.
Yeah, this is the first cast I worked with where very few returning people. Stephen Root is in our cast, and I worked with him in Jersey Girl. But other than that, there aren't too many people I've worked with before. And Michael Parks was somebody I just adored from Quentin's flicks. You know, even not Kill Bill, of course, but even From Dusk Till Dawn, which Quentin just wrote it and direct. But that's where I first saw him in the opening of From Dusk Till Dawn. I was like, this dude's magic. Like, who is this guy? And it took me 15 years to figure out something to write for him. So right then and there, and the first time I saw him From Dusk Till Dawn, I was like, I would like to spend 3 weeks on a set watching this dude perform. He's a genius. So like I said, it took me a while, 15 years, and then I finally figured out, it's this movie Red State. And so I wrote it for him. We went after him. He came out and did it, and he drops a performance, dude, like you wouldn't believe. Honestly, it's an award-worthy performance. I defy you to find like a better supporting performance in any movie this year.
And you've broken a lot of different molds with this. Your marketing, you've taken around, done all kind of a tour with it, and now you're coming to Movies on Demand to actually premiere this, right?
Yeah. Basically on September 1st, man, everyone can like watch it right in their house. Like we took it out on the road and did this cool tour with it, where a bunch of people came to big theaters, not movie theaters, and kind of watched the flick, and I Q&A'd afterwards, and it was awesome. It was a cool experience watching it in a room full of people. So for the Movies on Demand crowd, I'm always like, hey, get a bunch of people together in your house. You can watch it by yourself if you want to, but get a bunch of people together and watch it. It's a fun, interactive movie. Like as we played theater
Everybody
after
watch it
theater.
together.
Yes, yes. As you watch it in theater, theater after theater, it was the people like jolting together and trying to figure it out. Because the movie keeps twisting and turning every few minutes. You can't quite get your head around it, and it's fun to play games with and catch up with. So I think having people in the room with you is probably a good move. Plus, it's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, we want you to watch it by yourself first, and then watch it together as a group and experience it all the way.
Here's what's going to happen. They watch it as a group. I guarantee you they go home and watch it by themselves. Because this is not a movie you only see once and go, oh, I'm done. You will watch Red State more than once because you'll watch it once and be like, holy crap. Then you'll watch it again to see what happened.
So that's Movies on Demand, September 1st, right?
September 1st, man. Labor Day weekend, I believe it is. I'll remind people via Twitter, of course, and you'll be hearing lots more from me before it ever happens. But trust me, it's coming. You can watch it in your home or on your laptop or on your iPhone, whatever, smartphone. Check it out. It's going to be fun. Red State is a really fun flick.